gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, you know who it is. It's the big guy with the little show, man. But I've got big stars on it, though, man. You know, I'm doing what I do. It's Live and Loud with the Lord Nelson, that is. And I have a very special guest today. He's my brother. He's another one from the West Coast. He's from the West Coast. You know, they claim it to be the best coast, but
that's right.
We know the real deal. It's all love. But ladies and gentlemen, he's a member of many bands. He's working with some big bands right now. But we'll let him get into all of that and talk about it. I'll ask the questions. He'll answer. It's just going to be a great conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. John Winters. And I like to clap up my people. I like that. I like that. That's nice. That's nice, man. Thank you so much, man, for being here, my brother.
Absolutely. My
when
pleasure.
When I say my brother, I mean that, man. You guys are some of the best people in the world, and like Relent says that you guys like to say, we just need more good human beings in the world. Yeah, he told me that you said that, and let me tell you something. I've run with that ever since.
Excellent,
man. That means something to me, and that's, man. Anyway, that's a great statement. It really is. So I run with it, and I thank you for it. Most
absolutely.
So as we start off, I always like to ask these two questions to start it off. Where are you from, young man?
I'm born and raised in, just south of Seattle. I live in technically Kent, Washington, which is like 20 minutes south, 20 minutes to 2 hours, depending on traffic, south of Seattle. I've pretty much lived in this area my whole life. I mean, I've kind of moved around the area a few times, but, you know, I've done a lot of touring. So I've been around the world. So I'm pretty okay with sticking in the same area. I spent like 2 or 3 months in France one time. So I guess I lived there, but all in all, I'm a Seattle guy, Northwest.
Yeah. Well, see, because Jamie said the same thing, man. He's like, he loves where he's from. He loves being there, you know?
Yeah, Jamie's down in Portland, so he's a few hours south of me. So
yeah. No doubt. Okay, so what's the greatest thing about being from there, man?
Well, I mean, it's green, and it's, you know, it never gets...
Rainforest, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It never gets too hot. I mean, we usually have, like, every summer there's, like, a week where it gets really unbearable, but... and then, you know, we're definitely have the stereotype of it being super rainy up here, but you know, yes, it rains, but it's not the forever downfall that people think of when they come to Washington.
Right.
I mean, it does stay kind of gray, but man, I tell you, those spring and summers though, it's just, there's no better place. It's beautiful. Just, you know, it's the air, it's clean air. The water is blue, the sky is blue, trees are green. Just it's just, you know, nice 70 to 80 degrees, you know, just and then the winter time we'll usually get like a week or two of snow, and it's you know, maybe a foot.
Right.
It's never too bad, and we get all 4 seasons, which I really appreciate. Unlike, you know, down south in like Arizona, where it's hotter and hottest.
Right.
You know, when airplanes can't even take off because the wheels are gonna melt to the tarmac and stuff like that. I mean, that's not fun. Where it's
that's crazy. 200
degrees in the shade with the wind blowing. You know, it's, I mean, you know, I love Arizona. It's beautiful, but it's I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of biased because I've just lived here for so long.
I got you, man. It's love. You're supposed to love where you're from, man. No doubt.
That's right.
So let the people know how we met, or do you remember how we met? When's the first time we met?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, you were singing in Stuck Mojo, and I've always been a Stuck Mojo fan before you were even a part of the band.
Right.
You know, I've always liked Declaration of a Headhunter and Rising and all that kind of stuff there. And then when I was playing in a band called Vengince, and we did a European tour with you guys, and when Ryan Relentless hit me up, he's like, "Hey, we got a Stuck Mojo tour over in Europe. You want to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah." You kidding me? And then, yeah, we met you guys, and we've been, we've been in contact pretty much this whole entire time. What was that, 2010
man,
or something like that?
Yeah, man.
It's just, at least a few times a year we, hit each other up and just kind of stay in contact. And then you came out to the one time when I Declare War played by you. And, and that's when you met all the rest of my guys. And
100%.
And then my band Hatefist, we did a tour with Stuck Mojo in the US, which wasn't as successful as the European tour. But it was still fun. We had a chance and to roll around with you guys and play with the Duke of Metal and the rest of you guys. And I appreciate those times. No,
man, we had a great time. Listen, I'm glad you had a great memory, man. That's really good. That's really good because we had such a great time, man. The European tour was so magnificent. I had so much fun with you guys every night, man. Some memorable things. We can't talk about everything, but we had some great times. Just tour stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Just touring. It was my first big tour of anything like that. So I just watched and listened a lot and just hung out and just wanted to embrace it and just see everything, man. So it was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was my first time in Europe. I've been to Europe, 15 times since or something like that. Yes. But it was my first time there. It was like a lot of like decent big shows and full clubs and stuff like that, which was kind of one of our first times going to shows and playing shows where every night there was, 200 to 1,000 people there,
Right.
And that was kind of our first exposure to like, oh, this is what it's really like.
Right. I got you.
We've all been, playing in clubs where it's just, 50 people, our friends and their girlfriends and the other bands there and stuff like that. Right. Which there is something to be said for that. And it's, I still play those shows. But it's there's something to be said. Those are good times, but to at least see the exposure of having the opportunity to play, in front of actual people every day, and to top it all off, you're on the other side of the world, and you get to, meet these people. And I just remember, but the first show we had there, it was a show in Germany. I just remember this kid, like. I don't know. This is going to be kind of silly, but first night, they drink early there in their lives over there in Germany.
Yes, they do.
Drinking age is like 16, or if you can see over the bar, they'll give you a beer. So this kid, like, he's all hammered and like, we're all talking to him, trying to sell him CDs or whatever like that. And he's like, oh, this is your first time in Germany. And like pulls down his pants and starts swinging it around and be like, this is a Wiener Schnitzel. I'm like, oh my God, this is how it's going to be, huh? All right. So that was and we also got pulled over that day.
Yes. Do you remember that?
We're pulled over on the side of the road. We're all just got off the plane and German police pull us over, and we're just outside of the bus. They're like, because our bus was from the Netherlands, so they thought we were sneaking a little something here and there.
Holy catastrophe!
Yeah. So those are my real first early memories of
I'm glad
that tour with you guys.
Yeah, no, because I'm glad you said that, because that is exactly what I was going to ask you about, your memories of touring with Vengince. And yes, so you just reminded me. Man, we got on that bus, and then the next thing you know, we're getting pulled over immediately. We were barely out of Frankfurt, and they were pulling us over. And it was just like, what's going on? And then the thing is, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk, we'll just say Joey.
Joey, yep.
Joey might have had some contraband.
And by might have had, he did have.
And the thing is that they brought the dogs. They brought the dogs, and then they went on the bus. And I remember Joey over there standing by me. I was just like, man, I got to move away from you right now. Because I was like, I thought about every bad thing, locked up abroad and all those things like that. I was like, it's not going to happen to me. Even though Joey, superstar Joey Severance, one of the great guys, is amazing. We had an amazing time. But yes, man, you just brought back some memories, man. That just hit me hard. That was crazy. But then, you guys being you guys, I loved you guys' hustling mentality. You guys got out there and handled business, and I had all the respect in the world for it, man. Because you guys, we all took pictures with the police, the policide, and, you know, and then you guys were signing autographs and CDs and all that, man. It turned out to be just amazing. But that was a crazy moment, man.
I think our drummer even like sold some CDs to them.
Yeah, exactly. Flatline.
Yeah. So they ended up pulling us over and giving us their money. I mean, how great? How great is that?
Awesome, man. Goodness. So let me ask you this: what was the first band you were in?
The first band I was in, the first band that, I mean, my best friend Richie and I, we started Hatefist back in the day.
Okay.
And you know, we grew up together, and we actually still play together. We call ourselves Thunderbeast now. It's just one guitar, drummers, and vocals, and then we have all sorts of like recorded bass and recorded guitars and backing noises and stuff like that. But that's, I mean, as far as like bands and did shows and stuff like that, Hatefist was, you know, the one. We did it for several years, and like, I mean, it's technically still around. I mean, we haven't done anything for a while.
Okay.
But Richie and I, you know, we've been playing together forever. And, you know, some of those old Hatefist songs, a riff might get recycled into a new song here and there, you know, just because, you know, I like some of those old riffs. So why not reuse them if we're going to, you know, still play some things?
No doubt.
And so I guess that's my first like real band. I mean, we did the tour with Stuck Mojo. Unfortunately, Richie did not do that tour with us. It was our buddy Sean who held us out and filled in for that on the drums.
Okay, got you.
And then, you know, we did shows all over the Northwest, and then we've done, you know, little tours, little like Weekend Warrior tours, little week-long things back in the day. And, you know, we had a few CDs out, some shirts, and nothing super crazy, but we had a lot of fun doing it. And, you know, I still am friends with everybody. And so that was my first real thing. And then, you know, I played in Vengince for a while.
Right.
For a few years. We did all sorts of tours. They were kind of one of the first ones that like got me into touring.
Right.
I started with those guys with this band called Aggression Core. They toured together. I was on that tour as selling merch for all the bands. And then a couple Relentless went to jail, and so did the bass player in the middle of that tour. So I was like, I'll play bass for you guys. And then so I started playing bass for them for a handful of shows. And then we kind of just played like one show, played like 3 or 4 songs, and then 5 or 6 songs, and then just kind of went for that for a while. Yeah.
So you played bass when you first started playing with Vengince. You played just like some spot gigs as a bass player?
Yeah, because they went to jail in the middle of the tour for some stupid, like some drunk guy came up behind Relentless and like grabbed him, and Relentless just like was like, get away from me, and pushed him over.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, the police saw it and like took him to jail. It was just like he was just like protecting himself, you know?
Yes.
And then just, you know, but so I was to keep the shows going. I mean, there was still like, you know, 10 shows left on the tour or whatever. And some Dank Man Marcus, he kind of like did as much vocals as he could. And since the bass player went to jail also, I just was like, oh, I'll try to do it. Why not? You know, I can play. Yeah. And so I just, you know, did the best I could, and we spent all night, and I spent all night learning as much as I could. And we just like I said, we did like 4 songs the first show I did. And then like, I think we ended up like doing 6 songs. I'd like learn a new song every day or something.
That's
like that.
Wow. That's a great story right there. You know, I never knew that. I didn't know that.
Okay. All right.
Because I was going to ask you how you first got with Vengince, you know, being from Seattle. And so I was like, well, it's going to be one of my questions. Wow. From the merch to getting right up on stage and playing.
That's right.
Well, let's get into it. So you went to the Art Institute of Seattle, correct?
Yes. Rest in peace.
But I mean, so that's where you learned to play, or were you self-taught, or?
No, I went to the Art Institute to learn like audio production, live sound, studio stuff like that. Right out of high school. As far as like playing goes, I mean, I took a few lessons, not very much, but I would say I'm like 90% self-taught.
Okay.
And so after that tour with Aggression Chord Vengince, the other guitar player left the band or didn't. I think he was just a fill-in the first place. Relentless like called me up one day and he was like, "You're hired." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm what?" He's like, "You're playing guitar for Vengince now."
That's what it's
I was like, "Okay, sure, why not?"
Awesomeness, yeah.
And so I think they had like another tour booked or like a big show booked. So I just kind of like went down to the Bay Area and learned some songs and then just kind of went from there. And shoot, I think I did like probably 7 to 10 tours with them, US, and a couple of European tours. And, you know, some of the bigger shows that they had, they'd have like CD release parties. I'd go down there. If they had like a little Joe Schmo show or something like that, I probably didn't go down there for it. But like the bigger shows I went down there for.
Man, look, man, do you know how interesting that is to me? Because I never knew that. Because I always thought that you guys were like you were there from the inception. So, you know, wow, that's love. So you started playing bass at first. So when did you really move to playing lead and rhythm?
Yeah, when the other guitar player left the band, Relentless just called me. I pretty much had no choice. He's just like, you're coming down here to do this.
So that's what you were saying. Got you.
I was like, all right, sure, why not? Sure. Why not?
Well, I always ask the thing because, you know, when people play bass and then they play lead, and then I'm like, was that a difficult transition for you? You know, I asked Corey because I always remember Corey Lowry playing bass, but then, you know, he plays lead for Seether now. So it's like, hey, man, but he was just like, nah, I wasn't nothing to it, man. It was an easy transition. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I've always been a guitar player, but just like, you know, they needed bass, and I'm like, sure, I'll play the bass because I play guitar. So, I mean, you know, there are bass players who are bass players and they're great at playing bass. I do not consider myself a bass player. I am a guitar player who can play the bass. I have nothing but the utmost respect for people who are bass players who like do bass player things where I'm just like, where are you on the guitar? 5th fret? Cool. 5th fret on the bass. You know, it's like nothing. I wasn't doing anything. I was just low end to the guitar, essentially.
Okay. All right. I got you. It's low though, man. No, I'm impressed by it though, man. I'm impressed by it. All right. So Black Veil Brides.
Yeah.
How long you been at Guitar Tech, and you know, how did you get that awesome gig?
Well, I've guitar teched for a handful of bands, a bunch of different tours. My first guitar teching gig was with Nevermore.
Yeah.
I was Loomis's guy for a tour.
This guy right here, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's and then like I did some guitar teching for because of Nevermore. I did guitar teching for Sanctuary, which is, you know, Sanctuary and Nevermore. They're kind of, you know, they both had the same singer, Worrell, rest in peace. And then, you know, then I did some guitar teching for Metal Church. And then I did a Vimic gig, which was Joey Jordison's band. So I had an opportunity to do Joey Jordison's band, which is, you know, the old drummer of Slipknot. And then I did Machine Head for a tour. And then just through, you know, it's one of those things. It's, you do one thing, you meet some people.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, okay. Well, yeah. And then, I got this going on. You want to do this? Okay, sure. And then, you know, through that whole chain of events, the tour manager for Vimic is this guy, Boris, who I love. And then he got the Black Veil Brides gig as their tour manager. And he called me up and asked me if I wanted to do it. I'm like, sure. Yeah. And then that was in 2019, right before there was this thing that happened with the world where everything.
Yeah. I don't know what that was, but I kind of heard something about it. Yeah.
and so something, I don't know, there was like a thing. And so right before the whole world shut down, we did, I went down to LA and had some rehearsals, and because the band is mainly from LA.
Right.
they have a couple of other people who come in, but so we did one show in Mexico.
Cool.
And then we got home, and then literally like 3 or 4 days later after I got home, everything shut down. Everything got canceled because we were about to head out for like this 3-month long just death march with the band called In This Moment. And but that all got shut down, and then 2 years later it happened again, so late 2021 we ended up doing that In This Moment tour, which was a 3-month long just beat down, just just show after show after show. It's like for as long as you remember, you're like, oh, remember 2 months ago when we started this tour? And you look on the calendar and there's still like a whole nother month left. You're like, oh, okay. And then so we did that tour, and then we just did we're doing this thing called the Trinity of Terror tour this year, where it's Motionless in White, Ice Nine Kills, and the Black Veil Brides. We just did like a month and a half.
Right.
And then there's like 2 more legs of it coming up later this year in 2022. And so it's that same lineup, and it's a rotating lineup of headliners. So it's not like it's this band, this band, this band, the whole tour. It rotated every day.
Everybody, right, gotcha.
And then everybody played a full, like, I think it was like a 55 minute set, headlining set. So that was kind of cool, but man, it's 18-hour days. You wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and start loading in, and you close the trailer at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
Then it was brutal, but it builds character.
I don't think a lot of people do not. Ladies and gentlemen, you may not know how difficult touring can be and how much of a grind it is, and mentally and physically. And you're out there really doing it. That's just bad. That's bananas, but it's something you love though. And it keeps you busy, and you're handling your business. So, and I don't want to cut you off, but because what you're saying is great. I'm enjoying this. It's a good conversation. Yeah, this is what I knew we were going to have as brothers. But
hell yeah.
So how difficult is it for you? So you're not playing with Vengince anymore?
I haven't in a while. I mean, I talk to Relentless all the time.
Of course.
I'm always in contact with him. I would say that door and window is never shut. Okay. I mean, they have their guys, and I love them, and I have nothing but great things to say about all of them. They've had a couple rotating cast of characters kind of do my what I was doing for a while. I mean, I wouldn't never say that I wouldn't do something with them again. I mean, it's strictly a schedule thing at this point,
No doubt. Does that also apply for I Declare War?
Well, I mean, we're still active. I mean, we have I Declare War.
Yeah.
We have some shows actually coming up here in a couple weeks, actually.
Okay.
In July of 2022. It's just, things are a little bit slower with, like Jamie mentioned, everybody has got their lives that they got to do. And,
right.
But we stay in touch, and we try to do a few things a year with I Declare War. I mean, man, there was a time where we were doing like 6-7 months a year.
Right.
Like we would go out there for like a month and a half, be home for a couple of weeks, then go out there for another month and a half.
Yes.
And it's just, as we gotten older, and it's harder to deal with, but like, I mean, we all love it. I still love it. And, it's just, we still like to stay active and just do a few things a year, Weekend Warrior stuff a week here and there. It just keep us busy, keep us playing, keep our names in everybody's mind. I mean, it's been a slow drudge of, getting some new stuff written. And I mean, there's been a few demos here and there. But we want to release the coolest stuff we can release. And when we demo stuff, it's like, oh well, this is cool, this isn't as cool, so on and so on. And it's just been like that. And then I've been doing the Black Veil thing and touring a lot, so it's been hard for me to like really just nail down and do some songwriting. But I mean, it still happens. It's just slower.
No, I understand, man. Wow.
And then I just got back from European festivals with Black Veil.
Mm-hmm.
And that was insane, looking out of the, setting up and, testing the guitar, making sure everything works, and then putting my head up and looking out, and there's like a sea of 100,000 people out there.
Oh my goodness. I looked at the pictures, bro. Man. I like that on Facebook. But the thing is that when you're looking at all these people, how many shows did they do? How many festivals did they play? Because that was Download that I saw.
Yeah, we did 2 German festivals, Rock am Ring and Rock im Park. And then we were going to do a festival in Austria, but the weather canceled our stage.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't do, we were there, we were ready for it, and we were ready to load in, but there was like tractors, like shoveling mud, throwing hay down behind stage. And, the whole thing was just turned into a mud pit. And we're just like, and then the guy comes up to us like, "Oh, you ready to load in?" We're like, yeah, but did you look outside? It's pouring down rain, just people running around, just like it was a nightmare. So that didn't happen. And to be honest with you, it actually worked out and really well for us not to do it, because we had to fly all of our gear over to the UK. And that took forever to deal with in the airport, and just there wouldn't have been enough time to like do the festival, pack everything up, run to the airport, and it's just like, because it took like 3 hours for us to check all of our stuff in. Just, I mean, you fly a whole band's worth of stuff. We had consoles, we had guitars, and like just cases and wireless and this and that. I think we ended up with like 27 pieces of luggage just for gear. And that's like doesn't even include anybody's personal stuff, their clothes, or so it's like we would have loved to have done the festival because it was great and the people in Austria were fantastic, and but it's just it just didn't work out. The weather just didn't allow us to do it, and our whole stage got shut down. It's not like we just canceled the whole. It's like 3 stages, and that stage got shut down, and then I think the main stage got going really late. And so it just is what it is, and it's just, I'm sure they're going to make up for it. It just didn't work out for that festival. So I think we did 3 festivals, and I think like 3 club dates. And it was great. It was a really fun experience. It was a different type of European tour because there was no buses available. So everything was like, load everything into a van, and then everybody goes in the van, and we stay at a hotel, opposed to just like being on that bus life.
Right. Wow, man.
It was just a different experience. We were flying to places, which I'm not a huge fan of flying, but you got to do what you got to do.
Wow, man. Listen, that's interesting. You are living a life that a lot of people would love to live, man. You're getting to see so much and do so many things, man. It's amazing, man. I'm telling you, man. And listen, it's just good information, because I didn't know that you were doing all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I just thought it was I Declare War, and I hate that I missed you. I hate Fist. Well, I hate that I missed you in Charlotte, because something was going on with my wife. I had to go out of town, actually. I hate that I missed you. Because I was just telling my wife, I was just like, if we get back in time, I've got to go to Charlotte. I've got to. And anyway, I hate that I missed that. So what's the best tour you've been on as a musician?
Playing wise? Or, man, I Declare War, we had some pretty good ones. Where we were doing some festivals. And, I think we did like this one with like Thy Art Is Murder a few years ago. Where every show that we did, it was packed, and that's what everybody wants, right? That's
great feeling. Woo.
And the crowds were always intense, going crazy, insane. The floor was always full. It's just and then we did some great European ones where we did we went over to like Eastern Europe and like Russia, where things are a little things are a little more intense there. And
Russia was amazing, though. I'm going to say, yeah.
You know, and like this black belt thing was supposed to go to Russia and Ukraine, but there's some issues over there right now.
Right, possibly.
So we won't be rushing there anytime soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just remember being over in those parts of the world, and like everybody was like sitting on the floor and like doing like this whole rowboat thing. Mm-hmm. It's just like we'd never seen that before. We're all just kind of like we're on stage looking at each other like, I guess this is good. And like we didn't really know what was going on.
The Europeans really enjoyed themselves, man. They enjoyed themselves. Yes. Yeah. So respect to them.
That was intense. And so I mean, I love teching and I love being a part of that whole thing, and I love the big crowds, but you know, it just, there's something to be said about like playing the music that you write and that you come up with, that you know about, and just like I love doing that. And just, I mean, teching is great and it's cool, and it, you know, pays the bills, and but it just leaves you wanting that much more, you know. But I've been fortunate to tech for some pretty cool bands with some cool musicians who have been really good people.
Got you, man. Got you. So what are the plans for the rest of this year?
I go to Australia here in a couple of weeks with these black veil guys.
With these black veil guys.
And I'm moving from guitar tech to monitors. Our monitor guy picked up another really cool gig, so he's moving on. So I'm going to monitors, which is, you know, I do that at home all the time,
right?
And then we come home and we do like another festival, and then after that I do 3 Eddie Clear War shows in LA, Fresno, and Vegas, and then we do some Black Veil festivals over in Wisconsin and Ohio. Then there's a couple down weeks where I'll be working at home doing stuff. And then we do like 2 weeks of the Trinity of Terror tour with Motionless in White and Ice Nine Kills. Then there's like a couple weeks off. And then there's that 3-month grind from October to halfway through December, where we do more of the Trinity of Terror, doing all the markets that we missed on the last run.
Right.
And that brings me to the end of the year all of a sudden. And then I'm sure there'll be downtime for like Christmas and all that fun stuff.
Well, my brother, I'm going to tell you, man, that is amazing. You're doing amazing things. And see, you know, they call you John and they call you Hell B. You know, I want to call you Hell B, but I don't know. You might not roll with that, you know, but it's just like, all I know is that I'm thankful for you, my brother. And when I truly say that we're family, I really mean that. You guys are like some of the greatest people to me, man. And I had the best time of my life rocking out with you guys and partying with you guys after the shows and laughing and clowning. You guys are just great to me, man. And I will always have the utmost respect for you, no matter what. There's nothing bad that anybody can say. Listen, the Ukrainians were saying something about you the other day. I was like, you're not talking about Hell B, are you? I was like, man, I'll get on a plane, come over there and do something bad to you. But no, it's all love, man. It's all love.
It's absolutely mutual, man. It's like I feel very happy and fortunate to have these long-running relationships with all these great people.
Yes, indeed.
It's, you know, but yeah, I mean, you know, John is usually what I go by. And then actually I've been going by Giovanni lately because our drum tech's Italian, and a part of our show there's a violin section, so I have to sound check that, and he goes, "It's Maestro Giovanni," and so that's just because there was another John, and so that just kind of stuck with me to be that. And I don't know, all nicknames there's been a lot of them through the years, but that's kind of what's been happening lately.
I got you. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is Live and Loud with the Lord and my brother, John Winters. Yes, indeed. Doing work and just being that guy, man. Much love to you, man. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
All right, man.
going on, everybody? It's Chris Aiken, and just wanted to share a very limited edition of autographed books that I found that I am selling right now over at Chris Aiken Books. I've got this one. I know it doesn't look like it has anything on the cover, but it's got a lot inside. This is my book, Cause and Effect Metallica, about the Metallica Black Album. It's one of my more successful books, and I ran out of copies long ago to sign and sell. But I found a few, and I do mean very few. So if you want one, there's like, I don't know, maybe 5 of them that are available for sale as of today. So get it now over at chrisaikenbooks.com, chrisaikenbooks.com. Cause and Effect Metallica on sale now.